All right, objective 2, now we're going to interpret our histograms. So again, just as I showed you in the stats applet, you have to use some caution. The choice of intervals in a histogram can affect the appearance of the distribution. So I think I showed you this on the stats applet, right? A width of 5% for your intervals versus a width of 2.5. It kind of shows a little bit more in depth into the shape. It might show some more clusters and gaps. But again, notice that this is the same data just presented with two different sets of intervals. Okay, so let's talk about shape here. So it says use the data table from the previous example. So from example 1, and the histogram, I should say histogram, excuse me. Okay, that's better. Uh, and the histogram below to answer these questions. This is what percent of states have less than 10% foreign-born residents? So what we need to do is we need to find where that 10% is located. So 10% foreign-born, that's right there. Now again, notice it says less than 10%. So this 10% is actually included in this bar. So if there was a state that had exactly 10%, it would be in this bar. So everything less than 10% would be all the bars to the left of 10%. Now we have to estimate the number of states per bar. So this looks like 5. This looks like 10, and I'm just going straight across to the left. That looks like 15, and I'm going to estimate that's about 4. So we'll add those together. That's 4, 19, 29. I guess 34 states out of the 50 have less than 10%. We're going to divide that by 50. That'll give us the proportion or the decimal. We're going to times that by 100 to get the percentage. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll go to Desmos graphing calculator, and I will do that. It was 34 divided by 50 times 100. And that's 68, and that would be the percent. Okay, next one. It says describe the shape of the graph. So when you have one graph, there are 4 things to look at. First is the actual shape. Remember, we learned 3 shapes: skewed left, roughly symmetric, skewed right. Again, we look at where the peak is. This looks like the peak. So then the right side has a lot longer tail than the left side. So this is skewed to the right. Your peak is exactly where my arrow is pointing. Now it's an interval, so it's got to be 2 numbers. So remember, this is 2.5 to 5. So this would be 2.5 to 5. And again, it's a percent, so I like to label my numbers. Then we look for any clusters. So these are data that's kind of grouped together. Well, the only kind of gap I see is right here. So this almost all the data is a cluster. So really, I hate to say that's a cluster, but I will. So from 0 to, and that number right there would be 22.5%. So from 0 to 22.5%, that would be a cluster. And then your gap is the spot that I showed you between 22.5 and 25%. There we go. So that's how you describe one set of data. And then lastly, using example 1, which state is the possible outlier? So we obviously can see that this right here is where the outlier is located. So the interval where the outlier is between 25 and 27.5%. So I need to go back to the table. So this is why I said sometimes the histogram is not good enough. I need to actually find the point that lies in there. And if there were 2 states with values in here, I'd have to list them both. But there should only be 1. Okay, so I'm looking for a number between 25 and 27.5%. So I will go back with you once I can do it. Yeah, here you go. Okay, and I'm looking for between 25 and 27.5, and look right there. So this would be the answer to part C of example 2. 27.1% is the state of California. Excellent. All right, there's objective 2. Objective 3 is coming right now.